In this video we will be looking at a method of doing multiplication called grid method. It is actually a method taught at primary schools before students are taught column multiplication. Despite it being introduced so early, it is actually a method that can be used throughout your learning process anyway. So let's start. We're going to look at 28 times 6, so a two-digit number multiplied by a one-digit number. We will need to draw a grid which is going to have two columns and one row. So it'll look something like that. We take the two-digit number and we're going to partition it into its parts. So for example, 28 becomes 20 and 8. 6 will be on its own here anyway. We then multiply column by row and then add up the results. So 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 20. Well, an easy way of doing 6 times 20 is going to be 6 times 2, which gives us 12, times 10 gives us 120. We then add up the columns, which is straightforward in this situation, giving us 120 plus 48. And then add up the result, which will give us 168. We can also use this method to calculate a two-digit multiplied by two-digit number. In this situation, it's going to be the grid is going to be made up of 2 rows and 2 columns. Again, we partition the numbers, so 32 becomes 30 in that column and 2 in this column, and 24 becomes 20 in this row and 4 in this row. We then multiply the columns by the rows, so we have 2 times 20 gives us 40, 2 times 4 gives us 8, 30 times 20, well we can do it this way, we can say 2 times 3 is 6, times 10 is 60, times 10 again is 600. And then we can have 30 times 4. So 4 times 3 is 12, times 10 is 120. Then add up the columns. So 40 and 8 gives us 48. And 600 and 120 gives us 720. Then add up the final sum, which is 720 plus 48, which gives us 768. We can use this method to multiply any size of number. The only difference is that the boxes become, or the grids become larger and larger and larger. Let's have give one for yourselves to do. Okay, pause the video, and then when you're ready you can turn it back on and we can check that your results are the same. Okay, let's have a go. Let's have a look at the size of the grid. The grid is going to be 2 columns by 1 row. We can then partition the numbers. So 29 becomes 20 and the 9 and the 6. We then multiply the row by the columns. So 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 20 is 6 times 2 is 12, times 10 is 120. Add those two together and we end up with 174. Let's just let you have a 2-digit number to practice with. So pause the video and turn it on when you're ready to continue. Okay, let's have a look. Again, we've got 2 digits times 2 digits, so we're looking at 2 rows, 2 columns. Then partition your numbers. And then carry out the multiplications. 3 times 40, or 3 times 4 is 12, times 10 is 120. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 20. Well, we're going to do 4 times 2 is 8, times 10 gives us 80, times 10 again gives us 800. Then finally 5 times 20, which is 100. We now add up the columns. So we have here 135 and here 900. Add those two figures together and we get 1035. I hope you found this lesson useful. It isn't required that you are able to use all these methods. Just find the method that you find most useful for yourself and work with it. The next lesson, or will be another lesson, we'll be looking at lattice method of multiplication. Thank you for watching this video.